Do you wake up feeling tired and groggy? Does that then lead to lower energy levels during the day and difficulties concentrating, meaning that you aren't as productive as you'd like to be? This is common, but the good news is there are some easy morning hacks that we can use to make sure our energy levels and alertness are optimal, improving the day's productivity and our overall happiness. Hey friends, Mahin here. Welcome back to another video today on 5 morning hacks to increase your happiness, alertness and productivity throughout the day. Make sure you stick around for my last productivity hack in this video, as once you realize this one, it will change your life forever. I'll also tell you what my morning routine looks like now to ensure that I start the day off happy, focused and full of energy. But without further delay, here are the 5 morning hacks. A good start to the day starts off with our routines from the night before and the sleep we get throughout the night. It's really important that as adults we get between 7 to 9 hours of sleep, and it's not just the quantity that's important, but also the depth and the quality. For more on this, check out this video on how I fall asleep within 20 minutes and stay in a deep sleep all night. But the first 90 minutes upon waking in the morning are the most important for our energy levels throughout the day. So it's really important that we start off well. Often we can not feel too refreshed or energized when we first wake up in the morning, and the tendency is to hit the snooze button on the alarm and to maybe sleep for an extra 10, 15, 20 minutes or even more. Now this can be really detrimental to our energy levels later on in the day, because what can happen is we go back into a sleep cycle, okay, and then we're woken up by the alarm in 20 minutes time or whatever it might be. Even if you're not feeling good in the morning and you feel like you haven't slept well in the night, it's really important to get out of bed within 10 minutes of your alarm going off. This helps our melatonin, which is our sleep hormone, and our stress hormone cortisol to get in the right levels ready for the day. If we're snoozing in and we're sleeping later than usual, then that can really upset these hormone balances and affect our circadian rhythm. So what should our first 90 minutes look like? Firstly, refrain from using your phone for the first hour when you wake up in the morning. We often think that looking at our phones can be quite mindless and relaxing, but what our brain is having to do is switch between the different stimuli on the screen. So switching between messages, images that are popping up on whatever social media platform we're using. And what is happening to our brain in that moment is going from 0, from a place of rest, all the way up to 100, okay? And this can be quite a traumatic start to the day for your brain. And it can really lead to us feeling low in energy later on in the day, because our brain is having to speed up so quickly in the morning and use all of the energy that it's stored throughout the night. Also, when we're using our phone when we first wake up, it means that we might stay in bed for a little bit longer, scrolling on our phone before we get up. Going back to that first point, we know that the first 90 minutes are so important, so we want to make sure that we start our day off well. I used to find that if I was charging my phone in my room, I would just turn off the alarm, grab the phone and start scrolling on it because it'd be next to my bed. So what I've done to help with this now is I actually charge my phone in a different room. But also, by getting out of bed to turn my alarm off, it makes it less likely that I'm going to get it back into bed again. This is because I've increased the friction for lying in bed scrolling on my phone, and I've reduced the friction of getting out of bed, because that alarm sound is annoying. Pick an annoying alarm, it helps as well. So it means that I'm out of bed and now I'm ready to start my day. This also then reduces the friction for the next hack that I'm going to speak about. Get outdoors within the first 30 minutes of waking and exercise in the morning. A study into the effects of exercising early in the day found that it improves alertness in the morning and helps people feel more tired earlier in the evening. Another showed that those exposed to morning light between 8 AM and midday took an average of 18 minutes to fall asleep at night, compared to 45 minutes in those who were not exposed to as much morning light. They also slept for longer and deeper. This is because getting outside early in the morning and exposing ourselves to natural light helps shift our circadian rhythm, which is our 24-hour clock, by suppressing the secretion of the sleep hormone melatonin and stimulating the release of other hormones such as cortisol, which are responsible for increased concentration and alertness. Melatonin secretion will then begin again earlier in the evening in preparation for sleep. A way to get outdoors early is by having your breakfast or coffee outdoors in the morning to expose yourself to natural light early in the day. You could also combine being outdoors with exercise such as a walk, gardening, or an outdoor walk. Thank me later because I've just optimized your mornings. Morning journaling and meditation. This is something that's helped me so much in the past 3 months since I started doing it. If you're like me and you wake up in the morning with your mind racing, you are going from 0 to 100 in the same way as when you look at your phone first thing in the morning. This can be a really tiring start to the day because you can be on a back foot then chasing energy for the rest of it. Don't forget, it's not just physical activity that drains energy, it's also our cognitive load and our emotional load as well. So when our brain is overthinking and working hard, that can drain our energy levels. So when I started journaling in the morning to write down my thoughts, followed by some mindful breathing or yoga, I found this helps so much with creating mental space and stillness. This now has a massive impact on my alertness, concentration, and performance, not just in the morning, but for throughout the day. I keep my journaling flexible with no rules. I just write down what is on my mind at that moment. I then do 5 minutes of breathing, paying attention to the movement of my breath, or I do 20 minutes of yoga if I have time to combine mindfulness with morning exercise. Even better if it's outdoors. There are many apps out there that you can use, such as Calm or Headspace for guided mindfulness exercises, or yoga videos on YouTube. This is not a sponsored video, I just find apps like this are really helpful. Get to know your circadian rhythm and chronotype. Research into circadian rhythms tell us that for most people, our peak alertness is between 10 AM and midday, and again at 6 PM. The lowest levels of alertness are in the middle of the night, the early hours of the morning, and also around 3 PM. Again, if you're like me, you'll probably know that because you have that post-lunch lull. Knowing this is really important so that you can schedule your most important tasks that require the most amount of concentration during your peak alertness hours, and those less important tasks for times when your alertness probably isn't at its peak. Try keeping an energy or an alertness diary to monitor your own pattern because there will be individual differences. By energy or alertness diary, what I mean is actually writing down the times in the day where you feel like you have the most energy or you're able to concentrate the best, and then writing down the times in the day when the opposite of that is true. And examples of these individual differences can be seen in larks and owls. Larks are morning people who tend to be more alert in the early hours of the morning, and owls are those who tend to be more alert later on in the evening. Tailoring your work schedule around your own circadian rhythm and your peak alertness hours is a massive hack for productivity. Since tailoring my work schedule around my peak alertness hours, this is what my morning now looks like. At 6:30 AM, I get out of bed to turn the alarm off. I head straight downstairs and outside for 5 minutes to get some morning light, drink a glass of water, make a coffee, and write in my journal. After this, I read for about 30 minutes, fiction at night, non-fiction in the mornings. 7:30 AM, I do 20 minutes of yoga. If I have less time before work or a meeting, then I'll just do 5 minutes of meditation instead. At 8:30 AM, I get ready for the day. Between 9 and 10 AM, I do my less important tasks that don't require much concentration. So, for example, emails or unimportant meetings. And this is just because I know that my alertness is not at its peak yet. 10 AM till 1 PM is a time for deep work and the tasks that are most important and require the most amount of concentration and creativity. I make sure I do my most important tasks between this 10 AM and 1 PM window, as I know that's when my alertness, concentration, and creativity is at its highest. If you like this video, then you'll also find this one helpful, which goes through 6 ways to improve your focus and productivity. It also busts some common myths about multitasking and why trying to multitask may actually be killing your alertness and productivity. So you might find that one helpful to build on what you've learnt in this video. Otherwise, thanks for watching, have a lovely day, and I'll see you on the next video.